Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be going over URE26, or the Undergraduate Research Experience, which is a summer research opportunity hosted by Project Raise. My name is Dylan. I'm a senior computer science student and peer advisor at Project Raise.
And my name is Matthew. I am a senior student studying electrical engineering, also one of the peer advisors for Project Raise.
Perfect. All right, so what's on the agenda today is we want to tell you all about what the undergraduate research experience is, the eligibility requirements and what the application process will look like, and then also share what it will be like to work in a lab with a faculty mentor during the summer research program.
So you might be asking yourself, what is undergraduate research? Well, it is original research conducted by undergraduate students, either in groups or individually, under the direction of a faculty mentor or principal investigator. And so, what would that look like at Cal State Fullerton? So URE is an exclusive program to community college students from the partner colleges, which means you. URE provides students an opportunity to conduct paid research at Cal State Fullerton in an 8-week summer program that will run from June 15th all the way through August 7th of 2026. So, what would you do as a participant? So you would join a Cal State Fullerton research team for the summer and conduct scientific research supervised by a CSUF faculty mentor. You would do poster scaffolding and research development assignments, present your findings at a summer symposium, and attend weekly URE research development meetings. This could include stuff like how to prepare your posters, how to apply for graduate school and what graduate school might entail, stuff like that. And then eligible participants will receive a $8,500 stipend.
Yeah. So other benefits other than the $8,500 stipend of doing research here are going to be gaining hands-on experience in whatever field of study that you're interested in going into, while also enhancing both technical and presentation skill. Matt mentioned a summer symposium, so you'll be able to present your research to industry professionals and network a little bit with them as well. I think also building proficiency in reading journal articles is a very important skill. Being able to take articles and parse important information from them to be able to cite whatever research that you're getting into. Also, some students, not all, but some will have the opportunity to publish their results in academic journals. This might happen while you finish your research or a few years down the line. But if you are interested in pursuing a master's program or a PhD program, both really like it if you do have published academic journals.
So you might be asking yourself, do I need research experience? And the answer is no. This experience is here to help you get that first experience. So you don't need to have any prior research experience to participate in the program. The faculty mentors know that you are learning as part of the undergraduate research experience. In addition to support from your PI, you'll have an opportunity to learn from other students in the lab. This can include other students that are in URE. It may include some people working on their master's degrees, or other people just working in the lab from university students. You will also receive guidance from a Project Raise peer advisor. So you might be thinking, all right, well, what are the projects that are going to be available? So the list of available research projects will be emailed to the students whose application reached the review and interview stages. Students will express their interest in specific labs during the interview. You'll give about five. You're in order from like most interested all the way down, and then labs and faculty decisions will be included in the final decision emails. And then if you want to, you can go and see research projects from previous summers on our website at fullerton.edu/raise/URE. And then here's an example of one of our previous labs, the gravitational wave physics and astronomy lab, where they detect more waves using lasers and mirrors. They use Python to learn how neutron star matter behaves. And they even use supercomputers to crash black holes together. And so you can see that this lab, even though, you may think it's physics and astronomy, but they also use coding. So you'll have a little bit of experience in a lot of things with that.
So Matt showed us some amazing programs that we have to offer, but what are the eligibility requirements to get into those programs? Well, the first one is going to be attending a Cal State Fullerton partner community college through the end of the spring 2026 term. So a few colleges, you can see them listed here, are going to be Citrus, Golden West, Orange Coast, Irvine Valley, Cypress, Fullerton, Saddleback, Santiago Canyon, and Santa Ana College. Some other requirements are going to be URE participants are open to students who have already completed high school or have gotten their GED and are pursuing their first bachelor's degree. If you have an associate's, that is totally fine, but as long as you're pursuing your first bachelor's degree. URE is open to students that are majoring in a STEM related field. However, this excludes nursing, psychology, and kinesiology. Since at Cal State Fullerton, they don't fall under the MSM/ECS sectors, which is our version of STEM. Also, students must be a U.S. citizen, national, permanent resident, or DACA recipient to receive the $8,500 stipend. International students are not eligible for the stipend. However, they are more than welcome to apply and can be a volunteer and can conduct the research as a volunteer. A few other eligibility requirements are going to be having to fulfill a minimum math requirement set by your college, and we'll go over what those minimum math requirements are per college on the next few slides. Also, completing 8 units in a science, technology, or engineering course prior to the start of the program. This does not include any additional math classes that you might take. Also, during URE, participants cannot work a second or an additional job or cannot take courses throughout the duration of URE. So we want to make sure that your focus will be completely on the research, as the research is, generally speaking, around 40 hours a week. Also, a note is that any course requirements are to be met by June 14th of 2026. So that's a day before URE actually starts, or the day URE actually starts. So we'll spend a few seconds just showing you what the math courses are going to be per college. Keep in mind, this is a minimum math requirement. So if you've taken a higher math class and have credit for an equivalent math class, then you'll be totally good on this requirement.
Alrighty, so now we're going to go into the components of the application. So what you need to do is gather some things before you start the application. You need to gather your resume and your transcripts in one PDF. You'll need to upload your most up-to-date resume and unofficial transcripts from each college you've attended if you attended more than one. You need to upload personal statement and short answer responses. Prepare these ahead of time so that you just paste them into the application. The reason why we say prepare them ahead of time is because our system doesn't save it, so you need to do the entire application in one sitting. And then the last thing you need to prepare is the name and contact information for your recommender. And then you need to complete and submit the above documents in our online application for the Undergraduate Research Experience. So, short answer questions. Each response must be 1,000 characters or less, about 150 words. We have some examples of them right here on the screen. So just read them, prepare them a little bit ahead of time. And then also we have the personal statement. That must be 3,000 characters or less, about 500 words. Describe why you want to participate in the underground research experience. The reason why we want this is we want to get to know you and why the undergraduate research would help you in your career goals. So make sure to address these things, your short-term and long-term goals, how your personal background and experience have motivated you to pursue these goals, the steps you have taken towards achieving these goals, and then feel free to include any volunteer activities, class projects, or other experiences that you have prepared for the undergraduate research experience, at home projects, or whatever that may be. And then also, how might URE help you achieve your goals that you have talked about? So earlier I mentioned the letter of recommendation. You will need one recommendation uh, from your community college, either a faculty member, ideally in STEM, or a counselor. The recommendations are submitted online at www.fullerton.edu/raise, and the recommendation form or letter is uploaded, and that is due Wednesday, March 11th, at 11:59 p.m. So this is 2 days after the application is actually due. So, recommendation questions. Prepare the recommender to answer these questions. The basics: student name, student ID number, and their email address. How long and in what capacity you have known this applicant. What do you know of the student's future educational and or career plans? Please describe the student's potential for academic success and the student's strengths and opportunities for growth. Please discuss the student's qualifications and merits for conducting research and solving problems as part of the team. Why would they be a good fit to participate in the undergraduate research experience? Getting a letter of recommendation is super important because these people that you ask to be a recommender will know you by now. And so it's good to have someone that can actually speak upon your merits.
So now that we know what's expected of us on the application, when and where can you actually apply? So applications are going to run through Monday, March 9th at night. And then applications are to be submitted through the website, the fullerton.edu/raise/URE website. On this website, you can both review the application checklist and look through the application preview before you actually submit the application. Like Matt said earlier, we recommend drafting your personal statement and short answers on the Word/Google Doc. And you can find the personal statement and short answer questions through the application preview. Um, Highlight or a note to keep in mind, again, the application has to be done in one sitting. So make sure that you look through the preview before actually starting the application itself. So once you're actually on the website, you'll be greeted with this page that just gives an overview of what URE is. When you click the URE application button, it'll send you to this page, which gives you an overview of resources that you can use before you apply. So, like I mentioned before, the application checklist and preview are both here, but then some great guides that I would recommend taking a look at. The letter of recommendation request guide and the short answer and personal statement guides are both unique and special to our URE and our research application. So I would highly recommend taking a look at those. And then also, if this is one of your first times applying for a position, taking a look at the URE resume guide on how to build a strong resume. Also, you have a lot of support at whatever community college you go to. So we have a link for that as well. If you scroll down a little bit, it'll take you to this page where you can actually press the blue button and apply for URE itself.
So earlier I mentioned the importance of asking for that letter of recommendation. You might not know how to approach your professor on that. Well, you might ask yourself, how do I actually ask for that? So you can honestly just go up to them and say, hey, can you write me a strong positive recommendation for the undergraduate research experience? Allow them to decline. You know, the professors are busy. They might have, hundreds of papers that they need to grade. So they might not be able to. So allow them to decline. Ask as soon as possible. Like I said, they also have, lives, so they might not have the time to be able to do that. And it's good to ask as soon as possible because the application deadline is due 2 days after on March 11th for that. And so you want to give them as much time to be able to write that letter of recommendation. You can visit their office hours, make an appointment, or even just send them an email. Provide them with a copy of your application materials as soon as they're ready, instructions on how to complete the recommendation, and the deadline for their recommendation. So, where's this letter of recommendation? Back on the main home screen of the undergraduate research experience, you can see that URE recommendation. If you click that, it'll lead you to this page, which has a countdown timer for the recommendation deadline, and then has information for recommenders and the button that they will click to submit the recommendation for the undergraduate research experience.
So we mentioned before the support that you might have on campus when it comes to your application. This can come through campus counselors, different professors that you might have had, the writing tutors, or the Career Center staff. I also highly recommend giving your short answers or your resume to peers or friends and family that you trust. I know it can be a little bit nerve-wracking giving something that's so personal to these people, but if it is someone you trust, I recommend having as many eyes as possible on your application because they might see things that we overlook. Other ways that we can strengthen our application are going to be looking at the application as early as possible. We don't want to wait until a few days to send our application and to start taking a look at our application. Making sure that the application and the letter of recommendation are submitted on time. So again, the dates are going to be March 9th and then March 11th for the letter of recommendation. So making sure that we submit them earlier than later. I wouldn't recommend also waiting until the final hour since our site might go down or there might be a lot of traffic on the site, so it might lag. So I would at least, at minimum, submit it around 12 hours before the actual due time. Also, communicating with your recommender as early as possible. Like Matt said, they have other responsibilities in their lives. So, giving them as much time to be able to write a strong letter of recommendation for you is crucial. Also, asking others, whether this be friends and family, your professors, or different counselors, to look at your responses is very important. Also, what differentiates your resume or your application to another candidate's is going to be your personal interest and passion that you speak on in your short answer, your resume, and your personal statement. So make it as personal and passionate as possible.
So now let's go over the file upload. So again, earlier I mentioned you want to create a PDF of your transcripts and your resume in one. So you may not know how to do that. So on our website, you can actually see a way of doing that. Remember to upload the transcripts from each school you've attended if you have done more than one. Unofficial transcripts are okay. And then please, when you name your file, name it as your college underscore your last name underscore your first name. We get a lot of people applying, so we want to be able to easily find you with, just searching up your name, your college. So our example is Fullerton underscore Titan underscore Tuffy. Now, I just want to say, what if you're not selected? That's completely okay. Honestly, completing the application for URE is a huge accomplishment on its own. You can also check with us next year to see if the opportunity will be available. If you're not selected, you can talk with your college counselors, faculty, and support staff about how to improve your application for next year if you are still attending your community college or for other research opportunities. And if you do transfer to Cal State University Fullerton, we encourage you to enroll in the RAISE transfer program, where we provide the students with resources. We help them transition into university. And if they have any questions, they also have access to peer advisors to be able to help them. And one of the big things about joining the RAISE transfer program is you get priority registration for classes.
So a little application overview or timeline. The application general deadline is going to be Monday, March 9th. The letter of recommendations deadline is going to be Wednesday, March 11th. Then interview notifications are going to be sent out March 27th. And if you are selected for an interview, it'll be conducted at Cal State Fullerton from March 31st to April 10th. Then, if your interview is successful, then final decisions are going to be sent out April 23rd. The orientation and kickoff for URE are going to be June 15th, and then URE will be conducted from June 15th to August 7th.
Now, we just want to take the time to say thank you for watching this recording. If you do have any questions, please join the Discord, ask away, email us, um, and please stay connected. Our Instagram, Facebook, our TikTok. And also, I will like to say, not only can you ask questions on our Discord, you can also see a bunch of really cool resources that are posted constantly. There's events that we post. There is research opportunities that are posted, internship opportunities that are posted. So it's a good resource to have. I just want to say thank you for your time and good luck, everyone.
Good luck.